Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. It is officially my birthday. It is 3:14 a.m. And I just got up a little bit ago. My allergies are in full effect tonight. My nose is running, but I have the air cranked in here. And it feels so good. How are you guys doing How are you guys doing this evening? Now, I know I said this last night that it wasn't going to be a long vlog, and then it ended up being like an hour and 12 minutes. But I don't think this is going to be a long vlog tonight. We have a bunch of things to do tomorrow, and even though it is my birthday, we are preparing for Alex's mom's birthday tomorrow night, because she's got a big birthday party that we're having for her. So my birthday is the 29th, and Alex's mom's birthday is the 30th. And so we're having a huge birthday party for her tomorrow night, and she thinks it's Sunday, so it's like a surprise. And yeah, and she wanted to have like Great Gatsby flapper. What is going on with this camera? It always like does that. She wanted to have like Great Gatsby flapper theme. So everybody has been buying costumes. I have nothing to wear to this tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm gonna wear tomorrow. Alex ordered a suit in the mail. It came today. Sarah and her mom got flapper dresses. Alex bought a flapper dress for his mom, which was really sweet. I guess she got her own too. And then we're gonna have it at Carlos and Liliana's house. So I said I would buy the decorations. So we're gonna get up tomorrow and we're gonna go get coffee, and then we're going to go to Party City and buy the decorations. And I think we're just gonna do like silver and black balloons or gold and black balloons, and like shiny, and then get some like kind of flapperish stuff if they have that. I don't know. And then we're gonna go out there and we're gonna decorate the house, and then come home, and I might make a few videos tomorrow. It just depends on how I feel. And yeah, and then we'll have to see like what we do with the rest of the day. I don't know, probably just kind of hang out and stuff. I don't really, like Sunday we're gonna go to brunch, and then we're gonna maybe go see a movie, or we're gonna watch a movie at home or something like that. He asked me today, he was like, what do you want to do like for your birthday or Sunday or whatever? And I really don't care. Alex got me a massage, so I had a massage today, which was wonderful. And so when I was done, he was like, well, what do you want to do tonight? And I was like, well, we said we could go out to dinner, so we can go out to dinner, just the two of us, or we can ask Melissa and Jason. So it was just kind of a last minute thing. It wasn't even really a birthday dinner. So we ended up going to Basbo's Pizza in Broad Ripple, which is like one of our favorite restaurants. And we sat outside. It was beautiful this evening. It was kind of like warm when we first got there, but then like the breeze started. It's got all these trees that overhang it, so it started cooling down. And then afterwards, we walked over to Insomnia Cookies, and Melissa and I went in and got cookies. And there was this like high school girls traveling soccer team in there. It's like when you walk in, I don't know if you guys have an Insomnia Cookies, but where ours is, it's like really small. Like you literally walk in and it's probably like a 10 by 10 like little room, and you wait in this like line. And Alex and Jason, of course, didn't want any cookies, but I got Alex 2 cookies anyway. He hasn't eaten them yet. I will say that they are fantastic and they are warm, but I think $1.95 for a cookie is extremely expensive. But anyway, maybe they're a little bit less than that. Maybe those are the bigger ones, but I don't think so. I think they're that expensive. So anyway, we were giving these girls a hard time. They were so sweet, and they had like their 2 coaches with them, and their coaches were laughing at us because Melissa and I were like, now, did you guys win? And they're like, no, we almost won. And so we were giving them a hard time. We're like, now if we see you in here again, you girls better be winners. They were all laughing and stuff. They were having a good time. But it was fun. We just had like a laid, back kind of dinner, and then we came home. And then I called Tanya to see if she wanted to get a fountain pop but she had just gotten a fountain pop with her husband. So, what else did I do after that? That was it. And then, Alex, when I got, I wouldn't listen to a little bit of my audiobook, and then when I got back, like literally like 15 minutes while I was calling Tanya, and then we only talked for a couple minutes, so like I just listened to my audiobook on the way back because I was going to go get her. And so when I came back, Alex was in bed watching Riverdale, and it was like 10, and I was like, I think I'm just going to lay down for a little bit. Well, it had to have been later than that. It was probably like 11. I said, I'm going to lay down for a little bit while you're watching Riverdale. And so I snuggled in with the dogs and Alex, and I fell asleep. And he woke me up right at midnight and to tell me happy birthday, which was really sweet. Even though I was sleeping, but it was sweet. And then I fell back asleep, and then I woke up at like, well, 3 o'clock, something like that, 2:45, I don't know. And I came downstairs and I took the dogs outside. And yeah, that was about it. I've been taking all these videos of Pipi lately. I think I'm having like a really hard time getting close to, like through the summer. You know, like when we initially went to the vet, which will have been 2 years in December, or November, or something like that, I don't know. But she had said at that time she'd like to see Pipi make it to 13 and a half. And that was when the cough had been, like, the cough had been going on for a while at that point. And she was like, well, I'd like to see him make it to 13 and a half. And, so then when I took him in, whenever the last time was that I took Pipi in for a check-in, was that December, maybe? No. I don't remember. You guys probably know, some of you out there. But anyway, she said, did I say a year and a half? And I said, yeah, because I said something about 13 and a half, which at that time was like a year and a half. And, well, not a year and a half. It would have been like a year and, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I had that in my head that that's October, right? Because his birthday's in April. April, May, July, August. Yeah, so that would be October. And she goes, well, I'm surprised he's doing this well now. And I go, what do you mean? And she goes, well, I really didn't think he'd make it past 6 months. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you told me like 13 and a half. And she's like, well, you just seemed really upset that day. And I just, I was like, oh my God. I go, you told me 13 and a half. And she's like, well, he's doing well. So today, I called his medicine in the last time, and I don't know why, but when they called to get the medicine refilled, they didn't get a refill on it. And so today, I had to call to get his vet medicine refilled because we have like today and tomorrow, but we don't have any medicine for Sunday. And so when I called the pharmacy, they were like, okay, we'll call the vet. Well, then the vet called me and said, she said she would fill it one more time, but she wants you to schedule an appointment to bring him in here. And I was like, well, that's fine. I've been meaning to do that anyway. So I scheduled an appointment for him on Tuesday. So we're going in there. I went upstairs and I said, Pipi, we're going to see the doctor on Tuesday. So don't fight me on it. He just looked at me. And I said, you won't be getting any needle shots, Mr. Pipi. Not this time, no. You guys, I cannot believe this. My battery died already and I had to pull over to replace it. But I guess I didn't put the new battery in when I left, and I had filmed videos today. So that's probably why. This church that I'm turning around in, Tanya and I went to a meeting here one time, a long time ago. But anyway, I went upstairs and I told Pipi, I said, you won't be getting any needle shots, Pipi. Not this time. He just looked at me. His coughing was actually not bad today. So, I don't know. Whenever I start worrying about it, it ends up not being as bad. But then I told Alex, I was showing him these videos because I've been like recording videos of Pipi like walking around outside in the grass, and he like hides behind Alex's pillow when Alex goes to work, and he like sleeps. And so like I did this video of Pipi, and I was like, there's little Pipi sleeping behind his dad's pillow. I said, look how sweet he is. So anyway, I have all these videos, right, of Pipi. And Alex goes, are you taking all these videos because you think that Pipi's going to die this year? And I said, oh, absolutely. And he goes, why would you think that? And I go, because the doctor told us 13 and a half, and he'll be 13 and a half in October. And he goes, I know, but why are you thinking that way? And I go, well, I'm trying to think hopefully. I mean, I'd love to see him make 19, you know, don't get me wrong. But I'm trying to be realistic about it too. My fear is this. My fear is that he's going to do really well for a while, and then all of a sudden, the cough is just going to get extreme. And then we're going to have to make a choice because, we're not going to have a suffering dog. The cough is not like that now. I mean, the cough is it's changed. It's weird. Like, that's one of the things I want to talk to her about. It's like, before it was like, It's like not as hard now, but when he coughs, it's like a different sound, which worries me. But as before, as soon as it's over, he's right back to normal and everything is okay again. And he's just hopping around the bed and he seems really, really happy. So other than his cough, his quality of life seems pretty good. And I'm gonna ask her, when we go in there. Boo Radley, his poor reversed sneeze or whatever he has was going off like crazy today. I noticed it always happens when they cut the grass. And I'm sure it has something to do, maybe like, do dogs get allergies? I don't know. I think our vet said something about dogs and allergies when I talked to her about the reverse sneezing. There's like some weird business going on on the roads tonight. But anyway. So I've been taking all these videos of Pipi, but he seems pretty good. I don't know. I just worry about him so much, It's funny, like, so Tucker has always been like a pawer. Like, if you scratch behind his ears when you stop, he like paws at you, right? And Pipi's kind of done it, but not really like a whole lot. Well, Pipi's really started it recently. It's funny when you have a couple dogs. I don't know about having just two, because all I can speak of is having three together, but they imitate a lot of the same things. I mean, it really very much is like a pack of wolves. I mean, it's kind of cute and hilarious, but it's interesting too that they because when we take them outside, they literally follow each other in a row. And I mean, they kind of separate at first, and then they end up following each other in a row around the whole yard. It goes Pipi, and then usually Tucker, and then Boo. And then Tucker sometimes won't go way down at the end of the yard. So it's Pipi and Boo. Boo literally follows every move that Pipi makes. I was thinking about this tonight. I was laying in bed. So, of course, I talk to the dogs, and they have, they talk back. And what I mean is that I talk back for them. And so I said to, and Alex got laughing so hard. I was like, Boo Radley, I was like holding him like a little baby, and I was like, rubbing like right here. And I said, Boo Radley, I said, you are such a handsome baby. And he said, thank you. He said, I don't know. I've never seen myself. And I said, you've never seen yourself, Boo Radley? He said, oh no, I've never seen myself. I don't really know the ways of mirrors and how mirrors work. And I said, well, you can trust me. You're very handsome. And he said, well, thank you. And I said, do you think that you look like Tucker? And he said, oh, no, I don't look anything like that dog. And I said, well, do you think you look like Pipi? And he goes, I think I look exactly like Pipi. He said, I think he's very handsome, and I look just like Pipi. And I said, do you think that you look like a rabbit? He said, oh, no, I don't look anything like a rabbit. I'm not that foolish. And then I said, oh, okay, Boo Radley. I said, do you think you look like a squirrel? And he goes, I kind of like squirrels. I think I might look a little bit like a squirrel. And then I said, do you think you look like a snake? And he said, oh, I most definitely don't look anything like a snake. I know that. I'm not stupid. And then I said, And of course I'm saying this out loud the whole time, and Alex is just sitting there he's like reading some post on Instagram. He's like, I'm trying to read this post on Instagram. I'm like always very serious about the Instagram, you know. I go, well, what is the post? And he goes, it's a response to something. I said, a response to what? And he goes, oh, I don't know. And I go, does that have something to do with me? And he goes, no. And I go, oh, I don't care then. So anyway, but it was probably a fashion post because he's always reading about the fashions of the world on Instagram. But anyway, so I said, Boo Radley, do you think that after I said the snake, I said, do you think you look like a rhinoceros? And he goes, oh, most certainly not. He goes, I've seen those. I don't look anything like one of those. I said, well, to me, Boo Radley, you look perfect. And he said, thank you, Daddy, you do too. And that was our conversation. Then we went to bed. He's so sweet. Tucker's about the only one that has his teeth left, and let me just tell you, it's so funny, because when he like gets running and he's having fun, you can see his little teeth underneath here, and they're so cute. I love my dogs so much. I have no idea what my life would be like without them. I mean, I really cannot imagine. I would have like 6 dogs if I could. My husband would kill me. That truck. I'm by the lake, and these are like they're trailing, they're what do you call it, they're like pickup trucks with boats on the back of them, and they drop them in the water right over here. This is like the other side of the marina, and then these are like the guys that go fishing, and since it's 3:30 in the morning, they're probably, oh yeah, there's quite a few of them dropping. Yeah, I wish I could stop and show you guys, but you can see they're all going out of the water to go fishing on Saturday morning. Going over the river. I'm going over the river. I'm going over Geist Reservoir right now. It's really pretty. There's one. Oh my God, there's all kinds of trucks there. Is there like a little restaurant in there or something? It's like real cute. No. In all honesty, it kind of looks a little scary. I don't know, there might be a little restaurant or something in there. I didn't know that. God, there's like 20 pickup trucks with people just sitting around talking, standing out there at 3:30 in the morning, all going fishing. One night real late, I can't remember when this was, but not too long ago, when I was vlogging and I got done and I wanted to listen to my audiobook, I like went in some gas station, and it would have been a night that I didn't go with Tanya to get a fountain pop, because I got a fountain pop to listen to my audiobook. And there was like, it was like 4 o'clock, and there was like this kid with like his grandpa, and he looked like he was like 7 or 8, and he was not having it. You could just totally tell this kid was like not wanting to go fishing with his grandpa whatsoever. And they were all dressed up in their fishing gear, and his grandpa looked so excited. I was like, that is so me, like back in the day when my dad would have been like, let's go do something like this early morning, dragging me out of bed, so I have to go do something I don't want to do. I wanted to do this video tomorrow for my Peterisms channel called 47 Things I've Learned in 47 Years. I can't believe I'm going to be 47. It's crazy to think. I can't believe I am 47 as of today. Well, I was born in the afternoon, so not necessarily yet, but oh, did I tell you guys that I finished my audiobook last night? Oh my Lord! That book had me wrecked, okay? You guys if you guys like thrillers, it's a little confusing scientifically, I will tell you, but not that much. Like, you can follow it. You don't have to have any understanding of physics, trust me, because I don't. Recursion by Blake Crouch. Best thriller I've read in years. I mean, I did a whole review of it today on my BookTube channel, but like, it just builds to this like thundering crescendo of like climax after climax. And just when you think you're at the end, it's like you're not at the end, and it's like you're not at the end, and then you're not at the end, and then you're not at the end. It just like it builds. It is written so well. And there is like a lot of meaning to this book too. I mean, it's not just a thriller. It's like there's like a takeaway about life in it, you know, which I always love when I read that in books. Sometimes it's hard, you know, because you'll read this like deeply philosophical book or the story of somebody's life, and there's like a lot of like learning experience or lessons in it, right? But at the same time, it's kind of like not super exciting to read. Or you'll read like a super, you know, exciting, interesting thriller, but there's not really any lessons about life. And this has both in it. It was so good, you guys. It was so good. Can you see me there? Okay. You should see when I have to pick a screen thumbnail. So, like, I don't make custom thumbnails for this channel. I just pick one of, like, you get 3 or whatever, you know? And it's always, like, I don't know how it captures, like, but they're just, like, 3, like, thumbnail screenshots they, like, capture during the video. So it'll always be, like, there's typically one where I'm, like, kind of like this, or I'm looking right at the camera or something, and that's usually the one I pick if I'm in my car, which is, you know, 99.9% of the time. But then there'll always be one where it's like this, and I'm like real gutted. I feel like starting to use all of those, where I'm like, like triple chinned and like gut. I'm like, my shirt's like riding up, like, you know what I mean? It's so funny. But anyway, I started making this list in my phone of like 47 lessons that I've learned in 47 years, and I got like 10. And then I stopped making the list, and my day just kind of got away from me. It was interesting, the things that I was like writing down and like kind of how they were coming to me, you know, like, and I'll share the 10 that I have on here already. I don't mind. I don't mind. I mean, it's not like I probably won't make the video tomorrow. If I make it, I'll probably make it in a couple days because I want to like put it together. But obviously, like, life is not a dress rehearsal on there, you know? I think, for me, the saddest thing about that lesson is that I had to lose my mother to really learn that, you know? Like, I knew that instinctually, but it took losing my mom to really realize. It took losing my mom, standing in her hospital room that night when she was gone already, and realizing all the dreams my mom had, that there were no do-overs, you know? And I don't know that I really got it until that moment. Like, I really don't think I did. You know, I think a lot of times, often, I'm trying to say often more instead of a lot of times, I think often in life, I think because we do read books and we watch TV shows and we watch movies and whatever, right? Like, I think we have this distorted, I shouldn't say we, I guess I have this distorted perception of reality or of the world, right? That, like, you know, you can tell me something, but I don't know that I really get it on like a real level. You know what I mean? And like, having had all these conversations with my mom for years, I mean, my mom and I, you know, a lot of how I talk in vlogs, this never really occurred to me until right now. These are very similar to conversations that I had with my mom. You know, maybe that's what the vlog is that I miss talking to her, you know, I don't know. But, you know, we would talk about, like, dreams that she had and things that she wanted to do, and dreams that I had and things that I wanted to do, and, you know, she'd say, like, I don't know, you know, one day I might still audition for, you know, something on Broadway, and you might, you know, never know, I might get the part, or she'd say, I'd love to win an Oscar at 80. You know, well, when you're standing over your mother and she's 64 and she's dead, you realize there's no Oscars at 80. You know what I mean? Like, you should have done it 10 years ago, if that's what you wanted. Life is not a dress rehearsal. And when it's gone, it's gone. Like, I mean, it's gone, it's over. There's no do-overs. And I don't think I really understood it until that moment. That, like, Like, all these things that she wanted to do with her life, like, in that moment, I understood, like, you know, and I've said this before, that, I had, like, I think the weirdest thing for me was, I really kind of had built up this idea in my head that there would be some kind of, like, hugely spiritual moment at the passing of my mother, you know? That there'd be, like, you know, I don't know. I thought I would know on some level, if that makes sense. Like, I used to describe it as, like, there were no trumpets blaring, there were no, like, you know, angels, and, I mean, obviously I knew that that wasn't going to happen, but I guess I thought there was going to be something. There just wasn't. One moment she was there, and the next minute she wasn't. It really was that simple, you know? And I don't really think I understood until that moment that we're here and then we passed on to the next, whatever that is, you know? And, it completely screwed with my way of thinking about things. You know, and then what I really realized is life is 100 times more precious than we ever think that it is. You know, and that life is like this great gift that we're given to do and experience and everything, you know, all kinds of, and it doesn't mean that you have to go and have some extravagant life where you travel everywhere and, you know, you are on, like I said, Broadway or winning Oscars or, you know, writing bestsellers and, you know, being on, you know, stages and all this kind of stuff. Like, that's not necessarily it for everybody. Maybe it's trying, you know, I don't know, every kind of food, or, do you know what I mean? Or bird watching, or who knows, you know what I mean? Like, it's different for everyone. But make it something. Do something with it. Don't just squander this gift that we've been given, you know? And I think I got that in that moment. Like, this is a gift, damn it. Like, do not squander this gift by wasting your time doing things you don't want to do, spending time with people that you don't want to waste your time with. It's your life. It's your life. Stop. And I got that, you know, like, how much time my mother had wasted with people she never even wanted to be around and would complain about it later. You know, all the things she did that she didn't want to do. And I'm not talking about jobs that she had that she didn't want to work. We have to do that, you know. There's a lot of things in this world that we have to do that we don't want to do because we have to. There's just, that's reality, right? We have to put food on the table. We have to pay the rent, things like that. Okay, but there's a lot of things we don't have to do that we do and we don't want to do. Well, that day, things started to slow down for me. I stopped doing a lot of the things I didn't want to do anymore. And I don't know, I just guess I realized, you know, but it's sad that it took me that to realize, really. Like, you know, I got it. Like, I'd see movies, you know, and of people passing in movies and things like that. And I'd be, you know, life is not a dress rehearsal. You got to make the most out of it, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it. Life is fragile. But, like, in that moment, I really got it. And, you know, I've said this on here before, but, like, I had this is going to be a longer vlog than I thought it was going to be. But in that moment, I had this pivotal moment, or I had this pivotal change where I realized, like, we're born, we live, we die, and what we put in the middle of it is ours. Like, it's ours, right? But that's a gift. You know, it's like if somebody gives you $100 and says, go to the grocery store. Well, like on a day that you don't need anything, okay? But that $100 is what you choose to do with it. And the reality is, for the majority of people that are watching this vlog right now, I mean, let's just be for real. I'm not trying to be, you know, an ass to anybody, but for the majority of the people that are sitting at home in their luxuries of watching this vlog, you weren't born in a third world country, you know, to disease. You've probably on some level, with the exception of maybe some horrible things that happened along the way, have lived a pretty okay life to be able to sit wherever you're sitting watching a YouTube video. it's a gift. Life's a gift, you know? It's like, are you going to go in and are you going to buy, you know, 10 different kinds of great cheeses and maybe some kind of really great juice and, you know, a great chocolate dessert and really try some different things in life and really experience it? Or are you going to get the necessities? Because that's maybe what some people choose to do as well, you know? Or are you going to go in there and, I don't know. It's like, you know, life is like doing whatever you want to do. It's like up to you. It's totally up to you. You know, just because I say in my videos that I believe that life is about learning experiences and learning who we are and things like that, doesn't mean by any means that somebody else has to believe that. Just because I believe that, right? Doesn't mean that you have to. Doesn't mean that you have to apply meaning to things or evaluate and take inventory. Just because I do doesn't mean that somebody else has to. That's how I choose to spend my $100. But somebody else could say, you know what, I don't want to do all that. Like, I know a lot of people that don't do all that. I just really do. You know, I have a lot of friends of mine, close friends of mine, that I love dearly, that I can tell you would no sooner sit down and do any kind of inventory on their life. They wouldn't feel the necessity to do it. They would tell you, probably, I've been pretty happy living my life the way that I'm living it. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think I hurt anybody, and I think I'm a pretty good person, and I think Melissa's kind of like that. I don't know that Melissa would feel the necessity to sit down and read a self-help book or do inventory. I just don't think she would. And I think she would say, you know what, I live a right life. I think I'm a pretty good person. And, you know, I am really into dog rescues. And, you know, I don't try to put any negativity out there. And I do the best I can. And I don't think I need to, you know what I mean? I don't think she's somebody that would live like that. And that doesn't mean that I can't be friends with somebody. Hell, she's one of my closest friends, you know? But just because that's how I choose to live my life doesn't mean that that's how somebody else needs to choose to live their life. It's each of ours, you know, to do with what we want. And one of the other things that I said that I, you know, had learned, another lesson I had learned in my 47 years is that we're all going to die. And I think that that was something else I got from my mom's passing was, boy, it's gonna be you one day. Like, I don't think I really got it, you know? I don't like to think about death. Death scares the hell out of me. It always has. I'm not as scared about it now as I was before. I think, okay. I think I'm still as scared of death as I was before. Let me rephrase what I was gonna say. I think I'm still as afraid of death as I was before, but I don't think, I think I realize that it's inevitable. You know what I mean? Like, I'm terrified of it's gonna stop, hold on. Okay. I'm terrified of the act of dying and the unknowing of, or the not knowing of what happens afterwards or what comes next. But I'm not terrified of the fact that we're gonna die, because I think I realize that it happens to everybody. And if you don't think it is, you need to get connected with yourself real quick and look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you're gonna die one of these days, right? Because it is gonna happen to all of us. And I think when you get that, like when I got that, like, hey, first of all, you're gonna die, and so is everybody else. And everybody else is either gonna die before you or after you, okay? You know, when I was reading Recursion, there was a quote in there from somebody, I can't remember who. It was fantastic, and it was about the reason why, it was something about like, when we lose people, the reason we get sad is because we're reliving the memories of the life that we had with them and how much that they meant to us then. Not necessarily how much they mean to us now, but how much they meant to us in our lives, you know? And I was thinking about that, but like, when you get to the point where you realize that, like, listen, everybody's gonna die before you or after you, everybody that you know. I mean, it's just a fact. I mean, I'm laughing about it because it is just it's probably one of the truest things you'll ever know in your life, right? I mean, every person you come in contact with, whether it's your grandma, your best friend, your sister, your kid, whatever, you know, and it's a harsh reality. It really, really is. One of you is gonna go in your lifetime. Then I think what happens is it makes you really appreciate the fragility of life. The small moments, because you start breaking it down, see? And it's not just about the bigger picture. It's about the smaller picture. And then when you look at those relationships between each other, it's about the small moments with each other, right? And I think that was hard for me. But I think I got that somewhere along the way in the last 10 years. You know, like, I've had a lot of people pass in the last 10 years. Last 10 years, I don't know if it was because of my 40s or whatever, but, you know, the last 10 years has been, I would say, an entire season of grief for me. And, you know, I lost my mom, I lost my aunt, I lost my uncle, I lost a very, very dear friend of mine, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, to meningitis. I lost another very, very dear friend of mine that overdosed. My friend that recently passed away, Alex's friend that passed away. You know, 7, 8 years ago, I lost a very close friend of mine that I really, really cared about. You know, I've lost a lot of people in my life. And I lost my uncle. Not my uncle, my Caroline's dad, but my dad's brother. I mean, I've just lost a lot of people, you know? And I think when it first started happening, I was kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. This is happening to me. And then what I realized was that this isn't happening to me. Like, this isn't something that's happening. Like, this is something that happens. Like, this is life. Like, people pass, they just do, you know? And I use that term because I like that term better than just dying, but, and I think it's a reality, you know, that, well, I don't think it is a reality, it is reality, and when you get behind it and you figure it out, there's something to me, I don't know, that is very kind of comforting. And yeah, I know when I came by here the first time I said it was kind of sketch, but there's something that's kind of comforting and innocent about all these guys going out on these like boats to go fishing. I don't know, something about very kind of like small town about that to me. They're all bringing their boats, and I think they're stopping at this coffee shop up here because I just saw that it's open. And now here they are. Here, I have to show you guys. I just want to see if you can see it when I drive by. Can you see? You probably are like, no, we cannot see anything. But here, do you see? Can you see these people out here? There's tons of them. See, I'm getting ready to go over the bridge. There they all are. Can you see? They're all putting their, I think that is like a little restaurant or something. And now here I'm over on the bridge. I don't know if you can see it. My dad, that's where I grew up. My dad lives out there. So anyway, but you know, when you know that is a reality, that it's gonna happen, I think, I hate when this camera does this. I was like putting the vlog together the other night, and I realized that like a whole like 20 minutes is all like out of focus. But anyway, when you realize that, you know, then I think it puts your life in perspective. And it's not like you're like, okay, well, people are gonna go all the time. But I do think this, like I do remember with my dad, that like my dad would not get, like with my grandpa, I think he got real emotional because I think there was a lot that was left unsaid with them. You know, because I can remember when I was like in my 20s, my dad said, I don't want to never, like he goes, I didn't know my dad, and I don't ever want that to be the case with you. He was like I always want us to know each other. Like, you know, what like makes us tick. Like I want us to be friends and, you know, the father, son, but also know each other. And he was like, I didn't know my dad, you know? And I think that was really hard for my dad. But other than that, maybe it's because my dad's a doctor and he's been around a lot of death. I don't know. But my dad is not somebody that like gets really super emotional when people die. And I think to some degree, it's made him, I think when you start understanding that it's part of what happens, you know, it's like, I told this story, I'm not going to tell it again, but like after my mom passed away, like I was writing this blog post at my kitchen table that I had, and Charlotte's Web was on, and it was the part where Wilbur says, Charlotte, I don't want you to die. And she says, you know, she says pretty much what I felt that day in that room, which was, you know, we're born, we live, we die. It's a cycle of life, you know? And, it's not about getting in that and getting like all depressed and sad and being like, oh, woe is me, you know, I'm gonna be gone one of these days. It's about looking at that and being like, hey, while I'm here, I'm gonna make the most out of it. Like, I'm gonna really like take a bite out of the juiciest fruit and just let the juices go everywhere and really enjoy this life, you know? Even the bad times, trying to appreciate that they are there as a reflection of the good times, you know, that they're like the yin and the yang, and, you know, like the bitter and the sweet. So that was another one of my lessons that I said I realized. And then another lesson, these were kind of like all over the place, was we're all rock stars in our own cars, I said, you know? And this is a lesson that I really, like, that YouTube has really helped me with, is that, you know, when we're in the safety of our own car and we're driving, like, I was just listening to the Kelly Clarkson version of, I haven't even seen The Greatest Showman, okay? But this girl sang that song Never Enough at that pageant, and which was probably one of the greatest things I've done in the last 5 years, was judge that pageant. Not because I had such a great time, but because I got out of my element enough to allow myself to make some new friends. I get so emotionally moved just thinking about that week and how good that week was for me, you know? But, you know, like, I was, like, singing that song, like, that Never Enough. If you haven't heard it, it's such a fantastic song. But anyway, there's a Kelly Clarkson cover of it, and I'm, like, bolting it out at the top of my lungs while I'm singing it. You know, like, in a car, in our privacy of our own car, we're all rock stars, right? Like, you cannot tell me. I mean, sometimes I don't even care. Well, most of the time, I don't care if people pull up next to me. I'll sing right to them. I mean, I do not care. I, like, legit do not care, right? But if we are that way in our cars, why can't we carry that out of our cars into the public to be that self-confident, that crazy anywhere else? You know, why do we reserve that for our cars, you know, the privacy of our cars? And I think, like, YouTube has allowed me to do that because, I mean, do you think I would really go out in public on a regular, I mean, I might today, I don't know. Like, I can remember, like, a year ago when we went to Ultra, Alex was like, you should take a fan, and I was like, I'm not gonna take a fan to Ultra, and he was like, why not? You flip a fan every day, people love it. People carry fans to music festivals. I was like, I'm not taking a fan. I was like, really, like, I'm not taking a fan to Ultra, you know? I probably would carry a fan right out with me in public today and flip it and stuff like that. Like, I just don't care as much about that kind of stuff. And YouTube has really allowed me to get comfortable in my own skin. And I think to some degree, there's a huge difference in life between, like, I think these lessons kind of all bleed into each other. There's a difference between a rock star in their car who can also be a rock star in the streets, and a rock star in the car that cannot be a rock star in the streets. And I think for a long time, I've been a rock star in my car that couldn't be a rock star in the streets. And I'm kind of changing a little bit. And I think that's because I do realize that this is not a dress rehearsal and life is fragile, right? And so I don't want to miss opportunities. And the thing is that I've realized, okay, and the thing is I want you guys to realize about yourself, is whoever you are in the car dancing and laughing and blah, 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 whatever, you know, or whoever you are to your best friend, because you know they love you unconditionally, that's what people love you for. That's the you that people really like, you know? When I'm my foolish self that is making jokes and often at myself in videos, people crack up at stuff like that. Like, they love it, you know? And I love that I get to take some misery out of people's life on a daily basis and allow them to laugh a little bit. I get so many comments from people. They're like, I mean, I just, like, this week alone, you guys, I can't even tell you the amount of birthday cards I got from people, and they were just like, every one of them was like, thank you so much. You, like, the end of my day, you know, you make me laugh so hard. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. I mean, people's generosity has been unreal. I've gotten so many nice letters and birthday cards from people, and just to know that, like, I say something stupid in a video because And like I'm telling you, like 10 years ago, I wouldn't have allowed myself to do that. I would have been too worried about what you thought of me. Too worried about, oh, well, they're not going to like me. Or too worried about, what are they going to, who cares? I was like trying to adjust this beanbag thing and I turned my camera off. It keeps on like creeping up. Okay, I think that's good. Let's see a little bit more. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. What is this? Okay, that's my goal for being 47. Anyway, okay. There are going to be people in the world, but let's just get this out of the way right now, okay? So y'all can move on with your life. There are going to be people in the world that don't like you, okay? I know this is a surprise to a lot of people. I know it is, okay? There's going to be people out there that don't like you. There's going to be people that talk about you. There's going to be people that say mean things about you, okay? It's okay. It's fine, all right? You're going to survive. I survived to make it to 47, and listen, when I was growing up, people didn't like me. They said all kinds of mean things about me, things I didn't deserve, and, you know, it's fine. And people aren't going to like you, and people have a right to not like you. They just do, and you have a right to not like somebody. You do. You have every right in the entire world to not like you don't want to like. So if you know that, and you know that people aren't going to like you anyway, why are you worried about what people are going to say? Because it's usually the people that don't like you that are going to say the things about the silly, stupid stuff that you do. So just be yourself. Because the people that like you are going to like you for being yourself. It's when you figure that out, it makes things a whole lot easier. You know, it just really does. And, so yeah, so... But I think, like, those moments that we're in our car, like, with our best friend, or, you know, like, we're by ourselves. I mean, like, I don't know if y'all are singers in your car, but I'm a singer in my car, okay? Like, I'm putting on a full Beyonce concert with backup dancers and everything in my car, okay? I mean, a true story, I am. And, I mean, you can't tell me I am not, Whitney Houston up in this car. You just can't, you know? Today, I was Bob Dylan from the concert from Bangladesh. I mean, you could not tell me that I did not sound just like Bob Dylan and that I was not Bob Dylan singing on that stage. I mean, the air was blowing in my hair, the wind was blowing in my hair. I mean, you could not tell me that I was not Bob Dylan, right? Well, if we could bottle that and put that, you know, into something that would make us feel like that on a daily basis, wouldn't that be fantastic? But we can't. But I think it's slowly working through that, you know, on a daily basis, where it's like we start trying to carry who we are in a car, singing, feeling like a rock star in that moment, into our real world, you know? I'll tell you the thing is, we use these words genuine and authentic, and, you know, they're like, I think we think of them as, I think they sometimes kind of get, like, misrepresented as, like, somebody that is, like, just really nice and genuine and authentic. And I love those words, right? I mean, I really, really do, you know? And I especially love when I am described those ways. I'm not going to be a bullshit artist. But, like, some of the most humorous people that I have ever met in my entire life that literally, like, have you ever had somebody, like, I mean, I have, like, probably one or two friends in my life. Like, this one friend of mine, she literally is so hilarious that, like, you just can't even be around her without her. I mean, you're just, like, literally bawling, crying. She's so funny, right? And, like, she's one of the most authentic people I know. Like, her humor is absolutely raw and authentic. Like, she is so authentic, right? And she's so funny. And she's the first one to laugh at herself. And there's something just so genuine about that and honest. And I think, like, not to laugh at yourself, but, like, she sees the silliness in her own behaviors, you know? And I think, like, I think we think of those words as having to be serious words, and they're not. Like, humor is such a great medicine. Like, we just downplay humor so much in our society, you know? Like, humor is really, really important. So I think it's about learning to tap into that really, like that part of ourselves that just really is like, feels comfortable enough to be whoever we want to be. You know what I mean? Like in our car. But that's something that, you know, I think like, I don't know if you have to practice it over time. It's just kind of like, for me, well, maybe it is called practice, I don't know, but the more I do it, the more I feel comfortable, you know, doing it. Or the more I feel comfortable just being like that. I think it's even like on YouTube, you know, it's like when I first started making videos, like who I was and my comfort level has changed so completely, you know, that I feel like so much more comfortable now than I did when I originally started making videos on YouTube. I'm trying to think of what some of the other lessons were that I had learned in my life. There's 10, so what is that, 3? Lessons that I learned in there. Oh, do it now. That's a huge one. Like, don't wait. You know, I think that was another lesson. You know, it's really sad that, like, okay, so I was, like, Alex and I were talking about this the other day, because he said, well, you were 36 when your mom died. I said I was 35. And he goes, no, you were 36. I said, I turned 36 that year, but I was 35 when my mom passed away. And, was I? Or was I 36 and then I turned 37? Isn't that so sad that I don't even know? No, I was 35. I was 35 when my mom passed away, and then I turned 36. Yeah, because he was 24 when I met him, and I was 36. But, you know, I think that was another one that I learned from my mom's passing, was like, whatever you want to do, do it now. Like, you do not know how long you're going to be here, right? And you don't have to get all maudlin and sad about it either, because the majority of us aren't even going to know when we're on our way anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, a lot of us, I think, will. But, you know, a lot of the people that I knew that were, like, tragically sick, like, they were ready to go, a lot of them, at the end, you know? And, like my aunt, like, said to Caroline, like, I've lived a good life, you know? Like, I'm ready to go. Like, so I think it's about doing those things that when you can, you know what I mean? Like Alex was saying to me tonight, he was like, do you want to do something, like, do you want to do a big birthday for your 50th? And I said, oh yeah, like I want to go to Bora Bora or, you know, Tahiti or somewhere for my 50th. He was like, really? I said, yes, the Maldives, Bora Bora, Tahiti for my 50th, we're going. And he was like, okay, and I was like, because we need to start saving for that now, because if I do it, I want to do it, like, you know, I don't like to fly, so I want to get one of those little, I want to fly, like, business class, or I would love to fly first class, but we couldn't afford that, but, you know, and I want to be able to, like, get one of those little, like, nice little huts over the water for, like, a night or two or something, but I really want to have an experience for my 50th birthday, like, I'm doing that, and I know probably you're thinking, well, you just said do it now. Well, I'm not putting $20,000 on a credit card. I'm just not. But I can start saving the money, and I don't even know what a trip like that would cost. I haven't even begun to look into it. And part of it is because I just don't want to fly that flight. My God, it terrifies me. But, I mean, I guess I could do it for the experience, but, you know, like, I think the things that you want, like writing a book, like, I don't know why I waited so long. Like, I wish I knew, like, my late 30s were such good years for me, because, You know, this is the weird thing about, like, every 10 years of your life, like your 20s. Like, the end of my 20s were really, really good. But I think, like, everything I learned in my 20s, I finally practiced and mastered in my late 20s, which was being independent, you know, like, having fun. Like, that's really what my 20s were about. You know, being independent, having fun, you know, enjoying your body and dancing and, you know, just, and whatever, like, just having really fun, great times, which you should be doing in any, you know, era of your life. But really, I think in your 20s, like, that was a time for me that I really look at. You know, then my 30s, and then I think also in my 20s was about, like, building a foundation for my future. And then in my 30s, it was like, kind of like taking care of business so that you can enjoy the later years of your life. But then at the same time, like, I think one of the things I learned in my 30s was not to take yourself too seriously. Like, in my 20s, I started taking myself way too seriously. You know what I mean? Like, you do. You just, I don't care what you say. If you're in your 20s, you take yourself way too seriously. Trust me, when you're in 40s and you look back, you'll be like, I took myself way too seriously. I just did, you know? Some of the things that I was fighting for just are not that deep. And, you know, but by my late 30s, there was, like, I was relaxed. I was comfortable, you know? And then, like, in my 40s, like, I think it took me a couple years to get into feeling comfortable about getting older. I think your 40s are really about being over the hill and getting older. I mean, we joke about being over the hill, right? But I think a lot of your 40s are about getting used to the second half of your life and, you know, being older. And then, like, your late 40s are when you're like, F it, you know, like, I am older and I kind of enjoy being older and there's a lot of perks that come with being older, and you know what I mean? Like, and it is what it is. And so, I don't know, I think, like, the end of every kind of 10 years, you kind of, like, learn how to master what you started learning in the first couple of years. I wish it didn't take that long, you know what I mean? But I wish those things just kind of came to us. But I also wish that, like, in my life, there's been a lot of things that, like, I've really wanted to do. Like Jason and I talking about putting an album out, you know? I mean, I joked about that on my channel for a long time, but long before I was ever on YouTube, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when I was in high school, I was like, I want to be a rock star, I want to be a musician, I want to put music out, like, I love to write, like, music, you know? Like, not write music, but write lyrics. And Jason and I talked about it. There's no reason I haven't done that, you know? There's, like, when I wrote my book, there was no reason why I didn't do it sooner. I could have written that book 20 years before, you know? And I think it's about, what are you wanting to do it now? And a lot of the things are things that, like, aren't even things that really, like, okay, bucket list things for me, like seeing all the Godfather movies. Why am I waiting on that? Like, that's something that would take a weekend, you know? Or, like, seeing all the Star Wars movies. Like, I mean, I could do that over the period of this whole summer. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why am I waiting to do these things that I wanted to? Just do it now. Like, what are we waiting for, you know? And I think, like, for me, that's something I need to put into action in 47. You know, Alex was asking me tonight at dinner, he was like, well, what are you wanting to do? Like, what's your number one goal in 47? And I said, my body. I said, like, I'm not willing to, oh, this was the next lesson. This was another lesson. I said, I don't want my body or my body image to prevent me from enjoying life or doing things that I want to do. And I think, like, I allowed my body image, but as I get older, it's not just my body image, it is my body, you know? And being heavier makes it harder to move, makes it harder to breathe, you know? Makes it harder to do the things you did when you were 20 years ago. It just really does. And it's like, I am not willing to not participate in life because of my body or my body image anymore. And so I've got to work on that. I've got to do something about it. There was so much of my life that, because I was so, and this is not my first time, you know, being heavy in my life. Like, I've had other times where I've been heavy. And this time, this has been the time in my life where I've done the most, because I was like, I'm not going to let it stop me from doing things, number one. Number two, with my ex, when we were both heavy, Like, if I didn't want to participate in life, he wouldn't participate in life, and vice versa. Like, if he didn't want to, I wouldn't. You know, we just had each other. But Alex is going to go on and do things. Like, if I don't want to go to Ultra because I feel too fat, Alex is going to go to Ultra. I mean, that's just the way of the world. So, you know, we were talking about EDC tonight because we're going to go to Electric Daisy Carnival next year. And we're planning a trip with... so it's going to be Alex and myself, Fufu, and Maya. We're all going to go in Vegas next year. Well, Jason and Melissa are going to be out there for Lady Gaga, and so they're going to get tickets to EDC, and they're going to go with us too. But anyway, you know, it's like, I'm just not willing to miss out on things anymore because I feel too heavy or whatever. And I don't want and it's not just my body, it's my body image. It's like how I feel about things. Like, I can remember getting invited to things. I mean, this was a constant in my life for a long time. Friends of mine would invite me to a party and I'd be like, well, I'd say like, oh, I can't do it that night, or I've got something to do. When really what it was about was I am not showing up and letting these people see how fat I've gotten. Like, that's the reality. I'm just not. Like, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to show up. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed of my weight. And, you know, I feel that today, but I'm also like, I don't, and this vlog has been great for that. I remember a couple years ago, my first year in this vlog, when we were going to Florida for Ultra, and I said I didn't want to take my shirt off, and I was like embarrassed because I was heavy and whatever. And listen, I'm not a whole lot thinner now than I was then. Let's just call it how it is, right? Like, I've been on a diet for, you know, since, I don't know, 1973 when I was 1 year old. I mean, I've been on a diet for my whole life. I mean, if I know anything, I know diets don't work, okay? They just don't. But I need a jump start. That's why I'm doing the Optavia thing, and I'm starting it again on Monday. Everybody keeps on asking about the Optavia thing. I'm starting it back on Monday. Okay. And, but I got distracted about all that because I've been so focused on I'm gonna start this Optavia thing, get back on it again, you know. But I would let, like, my body image and how I thought about it, my negative view of my own body. And I remember I had a friend of mine say one time, he goes, why will you never come to anything that I invite you to? This was like one of my dearest friends, and it was his going away party. This was when my ex and I first started dating. Well, it was like 2 years in, because I gained weight pretty quickly in that relationship. So it was about 2 years in. And he goes, why will you not come to anything that I invite you to? And I said to him, I'm so heavy, I'm embarrassed. And he goes, do you think I care how you look? He goes, I love you for you, not for how you look. And I still didn't go to the party, you know? And I wouldn't have gone. But today, I wouldn't even question it. Today, I'd be there in a heartbeat. If my friend was moving away and I didn't know if I'd ever see him again, hell yes, I'd be there. I think that stuff is hard, though, you know? And I'm sure there's some of you out there that relate to the body image thing. I mean, it's really, really hard. And you so bad want to go, but you just can't let yourself do it, you know? My beard is itching me. I've been keep on thinking that I need to go and buy, like, little scissors to trim around up here by my nose. And then today... Was it today or was it yesterday? I don't know. It's all the same effing day, man. That's what Janis Joplin said. I was in the kitchen, like, drawer. We have, like, keep our scissors in this kitchen drawer. And I found these little scissors. And I was like, oh, I have little scissors. I'm going to pull in here. I want to look at the other lessons that I have so I can... And then I'm going to close this vlog off. I've gone, like, longer than I thought I was going. With all my stops. Do I have any really good lessons? We're going to see. It says lessons. Do it now. Don't let your body image stop you from participating in life. Dream big. Dream often. Our cars, we're all rock stars. There's 3 on here that I haven't talked about. One of them that I was thinking about was, I was thinking about the peace in every step thing. Back in the day, I used to struggle a lot with road rage, you know? And I can remember, like, being on my way to somewhere and I'd be like, oh, come on! You know? And it's like, I see people today and they'll be like, They're like shouting in their car. And I remember like, I'm not that at all anymore. Like I just don't have that in me. I don't know what it is. But it all changed for me when I read, I don't know, that Thich Nhat Hanh book, that Buddhist monk. I'm probably horribly mispronouncing his name. I don't think it's Peace in Every Step. I think it's another book of his, and I can't remember what it's called. But there's like a mindfulness meditation, and it's about asking you, like, you're in your car, like listening to music, singing the words, like, what are you doing in that moment? I'm singing. And it's about being present, like, in that moment, like, and nothing else. And that really helped me with, like, I wouldn't necessarily say I had road rage, but I had road anger, like a lot of it, right? And you know what I realized was that kind of like anger and rage, and this is something that I'm still practicing, you know, like, I've given away a lot of my life to like getting angry about things that just don't matter. Like one of the lessons on there was, in retrospect, nothing's really that deep. I mean, there are so many things in my life that like at the time I thought, oh my God, this is like such a big deal. And I look back on it and I'm like, it really wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I mean? It really is. And I think that's one of the things is that ask me 3 years how I'll feel about something that happened to me today. So, and you know, the other thing that's weird about this, though, I will tell you, is things that I didn't think that would mean anything to me, a lot of times 3 years down the road mean a lot more to me. So there are things that I think, oh, this is really not that big of a deal. And it's so cold in here, it's like frigid. But it's like a lot of things that I thought would have, I'm trying to think of an example, but that would really not affect me in any way. You know, so I did my whole Peterisms video about this today, about the fact that I was thinking about my birthday and how Alex and I perceive our birthdays differently, and like I don't really like anything done for my birthday. And I was thinking about how like Alex loves stuff, but when Alex talks about his birthday as a child, like it's always these huge deals, right? Like all of these kids sitting in a circle and they're handing him presents and he's just like the centerpiece, and like that's how each of his brothers got to do their birthdays. And this was this Venezuelan tradition that they did at his school that he went, not maybe a Venezuelan tradition, but at his school that he went to, and that you got to be like treated like, you know, royalty for that day, and like he just loved it, you know, and he's always loved his birthday. I don't have that. Like, I don't love a lot of special attention on my birthday. And all of a sudden, like, I was getting this massage today, and I was thinking about, like, my mind was just all over the place. And it was so relaxing for me. I used to get massages literally every week. And there was, like, this massage therapist that was, like, so good. And, like, all of our friends went to him and stuff like that. And he ended up retiring. But, and then I just stopped doing it. But I was thinking about that today. I was like, this is maybe something I need to start investing in again, because this was really relaxing for me. But I was sitting there and I was thinking about it, and I was like thinking about this memory that I had of a birthday party, and I was trying to think of how old I was, and I would have been like 6 or 7, maybe. I mean, I was young, because it was before I didn't have a lot of friends anymore. So it would have been like, I don't know, like first grade, second grade, something like that. By third grade, I didn't really have any friends. And I know that this is kind of a funny story in retrospect, but it really wasn't, and it isn't for me. But, like, I had this, like, tracksuit on that my grandma had got me, I think. And, like, somebody was handing me a present, like, stood up, and we were sitting in our porch, and I was, like, in this director's chair. And so, like, I stood up, and they handed me this present, and when I stood up, somebody deep-pantsed me. And I got so embarrassed and so ashamed, and I like ran from the room, and I like wouldn't come out. And I told my mom, I said, I want everybody to leave. I don't want this party anymore. I don't want to have it. I was like really, really upset. And I don't remember what happened after that. I was gonna stop. Hold on. And I don't focus. And I don't remember what happened after that. But I remember that I wanted it to be over. And I don't remember ever having a birthday party after that. Like, I don't know if maybe that changed, but I called the video, you know, 20 seconds that changed, 20 seconds of my life, or 20 seconds that changed my life. And it really was 20 seconds that changed my life. You know, and I look back and like, even today at 47 years old, when I think about that moment, like, I can feel how embarrassing that moment was, right? And that was when I was 7, that was 40 years ago, and it still is having an impact on how I view my birthday, how I view my birthday today. So in retrospect, that was pretty deep. But things that I thought would be deep, things that like, I was like, this is a big deal, right? They just aren't, you know? Like, some falling outs that I had with friends of mine, like, a lot of them just kind of work themselves out, you know? Like, I think about some friends of mine, like, 20 years ago. I had this one really, really good girlfriend. Like, we just needed space from each other for a while. Like, I mean, it was years. It was, like, 10 years that we didn't talk, you know, or something like that. And now she and I are friends again, you know? It's like, I don't know. Sometimes, like, in retrospect, things aren't as deep as they seem to be. And then the reverse is true as well, you know? And then the other thing I said in there was dream big and dream often. But the third part to that is, and work towards making your dreams come true in small ways. And what I mean by that is, like, so you know, like, I don't know, maybe you want to be an actress, you know, I always use that as an example, in movies, or you want to be an actress, like, you know, in on plays or whatever. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go and audition, even for community theater, or, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even have to mean you have to do anything like that. Maybe you could just print out online, like, look up your favorite movie and print out the screenplay. I know that you can find screenplays online. I've looked them up. I found the whole entire original screenplay for Halloween because I wanted to do it with all of my friends. I wanted to get Melissa and Aaron and Alex and Jason and Eric and all of us, and we were going to all play the different parts of Halloween, and I was going to direct it, and we were going to refilm the whole thing in a real comical way. I may still do that. But anyway, you can find screenplays online. So you find your favorite screenplay, or start reading plays, you know, and memorizing monologues and just practicing them to yourself. There's ways to chase your dreams in small ways. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe you do, and you say, you know what? Okay, in 2019 and 2020, I'm going to audition for one thing. Just one thing. It doesn't matter what I audition for. It can be a movie, it can be a play, it can be as an extra, it can be for a commercial, it can be whatever, but I'm going to audition for one thing in the next year, you know? It doesn't have to be huge goals. It could be small goals. You know, maybe your dream is to own a restaurant because you love to, like, bake and cook. Well, maybe you don't open a restaurant, but maybe you, I don't know, enter your brownies in the school cook-off or something. And that's one step towards your dream, you know what I mean? But the thing is that I've realized about dreams in my life, like accomplishing my dreams, very much about it, it's not about the actual accomplishment of your dream. Like, often it's kind of depressing when you get there. Like, once I finished my book, I didn't really, like, it wasn't even about the publishing of it. It was just the fact that I finished my book. Once I finished it, I didn't really know what to do after that. Like, I kind of was like, well, that's done. Now what? You know? Dream a bigger dream. Like Oprah says, once you get to the end of your dream, you have to dream a bigger dream. Which I do believe. But, you know, a lot of it is about the pursuit of dreams. And the pursuit of doing that. So as long as you're on the road to pursuing these dreams and you're doing small things along the way, it's gonna feel like you're achieving your dream. It's gonna feel like you're accomplishing your dream. I think sometimes, you know, people get down when they continue to do the same thing over and over and over. It's like, you know, insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But, you know, I think also in life, like, I would never tell anybody not to pursue their dream. I really wouldn't. But, like, if you are let's just say if you're 40, okay, and since you were 16 years old, you have auditioned for, you know, I don't know, to be in 500 plays, and you've never once gotten a part, right? And at that point, it's just really bringing you down. I mean, you asked me, I'd say, is there any other way besides actually being in a dream that, you know, or being in the play that you can actually accomplish your dreams? Is there any other way, you know? Then you have to figure that out. But, oh my God, I didn't realize how late it was. Well, those are my lessons for my 47th birthday. Did you enjoy them? Did you learn a lot? What's a lesson you've learned in your lifetime? And I don't care if you're 20 or 60 or 80 or 35 or 42 or whatever. Put a lesson below that you have learned in your life. Let's all educate each other on one thing that we've learned in our lives, okay? And to everybody out there that I already know is going to say happy birthday, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. You know, waking up every day and getting to make my videos, and especially this vlog where I just get to talk to you guys, you know, it's a dream come true. It really, really is. It's a culmination of all of my dreams in my life. And I just never thought this was something that I wanted or needed. And that fact that I have it, it just makes my life so rich, and I can't imagine my life without it. So I just want to say thank you so much. I love you guys. You make my life, not even my day. You make my life. And I hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday, unless you have other plans. But don't. It is Saturday, June 29th, my birthday. Go celebrate for me and do something fun for yourself. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Look in the mirror, tell it to yourself, and of course, most importantly, pass it on to somebody else. We all need to hear it. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.